want to start my talk with a little experiment. Close your eyes, think of the house you live in, and walk through the door, walk through the street, and think about what do you see. What I see is gray walls, shops, advertisement, regulations, and commerce. Open your eyes. I think what is missing is a little bit of color. Do you agree? Yeah. So please raise your hand who lives in a major city, like Innsbruck, Salzburg, or like not not a rural area. Okay, yeah, 50%. So I guess you know some of those walls. I grew up in Linz, surrounded by steel industry and gray walls everywhere. So this is what I saw my whole life. And since I was 11 years old, I dedicated myself to hip hop. So I did music. I'm a rapper, and hip hop from the 70s in New York. It was always an art form of minorities, of the others, of the unwanted. Back then, it was mostly Hispanics, Afro-Americans, and I really could relate to it. Me, person of color, in a right-wing state like Upper Austria. So yeah, this is what I looked like back then, a little bit different. But as hip-hop today is kind of influencing mass media, the mainstream, pop culture, language, fashion, you name it, street art still is regarded as vandalism, something ugly. One could never imagine street art in a museum. So when I studied fine art and cultural theory, and after the Reykjavik Film Festival, I made my way to Latin America. So I conducted my empiric research for my PhD thesis in 14 countries and traveling all over those places. So all I saw was beautiful colored walls. No matter if I was in Bogota, in Argentina, in Guatemala, in Mexico, you name it, in the favelas of Sao Paulo, all I saw was those colorful artworks. I was thinking to myself, how can I change my city? What would my city look like? So I created the idea of organizing a festival, the Calle Libre Street Art Festival in Vienna 2014. And Calle Libre stands for free street, free of traffic, free of advertisement, free of consumption, free of politics, all of that, free. Just a free platform for expression. And Vienna, of course, is not really known for its street art. It's mostly known for some of the most influential artists in the world, like Klimt and Schiele, and its churches, and its emperor, like most of the, and empress, most of the buildings that are regarded as the most beautiful belong to the monarchy, like Schloss Schönbrunn and the opera. But street art was never part of that, you know? Even though we have one of the most highest densities of museums in the world, one still has to pay entry to go there. You know, it's not for free. So I was thinking to myself, why can't we turn the city itself into a museum? So I walked around the city and looked for gray walls. And guess what? I found plenty of them. But, you know, it's not that easy. I mean, back then, I was a 26-year-old, fresh graduated, who never painted a wall in his life, and I didn't know how to do it. So let me explain how it works. If there's one thing Austria is known for, it is the bureaucracy. So let me show you who to talk to. So the MA36 to put something on the street. It's the MA42 if you want to paint in a park. It's the MA37 if you want to change the facade. Still have to talk to the MA46 if you be there more than one day. And the MA19 for clearing the design. And in the end, of course, the police. It is crazy how difficult it is to put art on a wall. And at the same time, how easy it is to just pay a few dollars and put up a big billboard on the street, maybe for a politician or a company, who knows. So it's really crazy. So once you have the sketch, you have to find someone that owns a house. So we walked around the city, sometimes for hours, and we just rang the bell of a house owner and asked him if he would give us his wall. And once we convinced him, of course, we have to get the colors, we have to get the brushes, the paint, the cans, and then, of course, you have to find a person that is crazy enough to go up there, 30 meters high, and paint like for 7 days straight, 10 hours a day, tirelessly, and all that for free. I mean, sometimes people ask me, who pays for all of this? So, I mean, no one really. I mean, still, we have some partners and sponsors and get scarcely funded by the state and the city, but we all do this for free, next to a full-time job. Sometimes we even have to pay or put in private money to organize the festival. It is amazing because, like, you know, we do all this. It's so complicated. So this is what it looks like when the process is done. It's really crazy, like how long it takes and how difficult it is when you know at the same time it's so easy to put advertisement out there. So, but it's not just the nice colors. Like, of course, why would you paint some walls in the city if there's way more important topics in the world, like war, like climate change, like racism? I mean, I'm well aware that we can't solve those problems, but at least we can raise some questions. Let me show you how. 2 examples of walls are like Curario is a Portuguese artist who painted this wall and put it in front of a playground with his mother-entitled work, and saying 250,000, he refers to the current number of child soldiers and their disastrous fate. That shows us the harsh dualities of our world. Another example, Crazy Mr. Sketch. Within the city, it's really hard for birds to find breeding spaces. So we decided to turn this artwork into a bird hotel, let's say a Ritz-Carlton for birds. So we placed 24 of those incubators onto the wall, where since last year the birds can breed their babies from May to October until they make their way to Africa. And you know, what is the value in all this? Like, we've been painted for the last 8 years, dozens of walls, and people come up to us and say, you know, when we walk past the street, I see your painting and it cheers me up. And we painted canvases, we painted cars, we painted telephone booths, we painted wine barrels, we painted small walls, big walls, and even we organized tours to bring people out there because we have to raise consciousness about what is out there. So hundreds and hundreds of people came to our tours, and people write us, and they really strengthened the idea of bringing more color to the city. And remember when I told you that it's not possible to see street art in a museum? Well, last year we cooperated with the museum in Vienna, and we organized a street art show within the city museum, which was like a really new thing to us because it was one of the first times someone painted within the city and within the museum walls. So I think we have to take it further. We have to take it further. Now, you see, we painted almost half of the city of Vienna, but now we want to go somewhere else. So maybe I want to encourage everyone out there and reflect the status quo and reflect how can the city look like for you. Even in 2014, there was one artist, Henriks, who was part of the festival, and he actually just now organizes a street art festival here in Innsbruck. So there is some effects. So this is the museum's walls. We even made it to this building, which was a residential building for the emperor. So you could say we painted the bedroom of the emperor. So what does it take to change the city? It takes some materials, it takes a lot of permissions, and at least in Vienna. It takes a courageous team, and it takes a strong idea. So when I close my eyes now and I walk through the city, all I see is these colorful pieces, and I feel better. So maybe next time you walk through your city and you see a blank spot, like just a blank spot in your concrete jungle, think of us, or maybe start painting it yourself. Let the streets be free. Thanks.